There was another matter which I want to discuss briefly, and that's Ginnivan's ducking. I was watching the Easter Monday clash between Hawthorn and Geelong, and Hawthorn, in that last quarter, they put on a huge comeback, and they threatened to take the game away from Geelong. They were down by 36 points at the start of the fourth quarter, and they kicked a goal within a minute, and straight away it was a 5-goal game, very tight. But in the last 10 minutes, Ginnivan was ducking for free kicks like I've never ever seen before, and it was horrendous, to be honest. And it makes it hard for the umpires to be able to adjudicate the game, because he does it so well, Ginnivan. He's so good at drawing a high tackle, and it looks like a high tackle, but you get a slow motion replay, which no one has the luxury of seeing until after the fact. And because the umpires don't pay a free kick against players that duck and put on an act, Ginnivan's become an expert at being able to convince umpires and show and pretend like he's been called for a high tackle and he's been caught for a high tackle. And it's frustrating. And my call to the umpires is start paying free kicks against him. And it's going to be
absolutely. And I think the AFL tried to clamp down on this maybe 7 years ago or so. They first started paying, ducking first started happening in the game, and then they started paying frees against the players who would just straight up duck. And now the players have gotten a little bit smarter with how they do it, and they drop their knees. Instead of just bending their torso over, they drop their knees fully to the ground. And those don't get paid as much as frees against the player ducking. And I think they should really clamp down on it as well. I'm completely with you there. And if they really want to clamp down on it, they can even start handing out fines.
Fines is a good one, yeah. But especially on the game day, in the moment, that's when the players are really going to take action and stop themselves from doing it.
Yeah, and every team's got a player who does this, by the way. So
absolutely. It's not just Ginnivan, and I don't want to gang up on him here, because I saw Scott Penderbury do it.
Our own head over the footy zone, Charlie Gill, has a big gripe with Nick Dacos. And he says that Nick Dacos will never be the best player of all time because he ducks.
He did
say that. And because he plays for frees.
Well, that's...
And I know as a Collingwood supporter, Max, you're not happy with that, are you?
Well, no, I think I don't think Nick Dacos does it too badly. I know that he ducks, but Joel Selwyn did it for his long career, and heaps of others have done it, as we mentioned before. Scott Penderbury, I even noticed him ducking on the weekend, and there's a number of other players. So it's crept into our game across the board.
Well, one of the issues is the umpires begin to know which players like to do it, and then they stop paying those players free kicks no matter what. Sometimes they go too far the other way.
Well, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. That's a really good point. That's exactly what's happening with Ginnivan. It's a disgrace. I'll put it as simple as that, because there's one side of the ledger and then there's the other side, and Brian Taylor, he was on commentary talking about it. He's Ginnivan, he had a few at the start of the game earlier that were clear high free kicks, and there was one early in the fourth quarter as well, and the umpires don't pay him because they know he puts on an act.
Yeah, that's right. It's like that with Tom Papley now as well. I watch a lot of him as a Sydney supporter. He would duck a lot, and he still does sometimes, but they rarely give him high free kicks anymore, even when they're high.
Yep. Well, drop it in the comments if there's anyone that ducks in the AFL. Let's shine a light on them.
Name them and shame them.
Yeah, name them and shame them. But the AFL should be paying free kicks against them. And do you agree with that, Ron?
100%.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's crack into it. And starting off with the top 3 games to watch. And the number 1 game is... which one is it? I'm just curious. It's Collingwood and Hawthorn. And this game is an absolute cracker. Jack Ginnivan playing against his old side, Collingwood. And that's going to be huge. That will be huge. Collingwood, there's history there. Jack Ginnivan left the club. Now, he left the club, and one of the reasons why he did leave, he was talking on the American Aces podcast, and he said, I wanted to stay at Collingwood, but I went to Bali on a end of season trip with the boys, Collingwood teammates, and he came back, and none of the teammates sent a message to him saying, "I want you to stay at Collingwood." I think he had 1 year remaining on his contract, and sort of because of that, that's one of the reasons why he sort of went to Hawthorn. The other reason was obviously there was a 4-year contract in front of him, and compared to one, so you take that. But yeah, that was one of the reasons. So there's a little bit there, and he's saying a little bit, so the tensions may be rising. And another reason why I think, go on.
Yeah, well, I was going to say as well, I mean, he was just on the edge of Collingwood's 22, wasn't he?
Correct.
So at Hawthorn, he's getting a game every week, for sure.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this has got the potential to cause a real stir during the game. There's that stuff that it's happened pre-game, but during the game, Collingwood know him better than anyone else, and he loves to draw free kicks, loves the high tackles. We spoke about this on Monday, on our episode that came out on Tuesday, reviewing the round, is how Ginnivan was playing for free kicks. He loves it. He gets high tackles and he ducks. He's a master of ducking, and Collingwood know that. So these defenders in the Collingwood side, they all know that he'll be going for these high free kicks, but they're not going to have a bar of it because they know that they can get into trouble by giving away these free kicks, giving away potential goals. And do you agree with me, Connor?
Yeah, I do. And I think that there's going to be a lot of tension in this game. I think we'll see, if not a full-blown fight, I think we'll see something a little bit rough and lots of push and shove with Ginnivan and his old side. I don't think, from the way that you've just described it, I don't think there's too many friendly feelings going on there.
Yeah, and the thing about this is Ginnivan, he loves these games. He loves the theatre. He loves the action. He likes a little bit of back and throw. So he will enjoy this. He thrives in these situations. And Collingwood, he'll get under their skin. It's going to be high intensity. Collingwood won't want to go 1-4. They'll be expecting to win this game. But I reckon Ginnivan, he's going to throw a few punches at him. And
let me say this. This game is very important for Collingwood.
Yep.
This is a little bit of a turning point in the season, whether they go 2-3 or it would be a disaster to get upset here. But Hawthorn have been known to do crazier things.
Yep.
So they're a bit of a, they're not a dark horse to actually make the 8 or anything this season, but you have to be on your game when you're playing Hawthorn because they can whip out a good game at any time.
Certainly. And the other thing is Hawthorn, they'll rally around Ginnivan. They'll want to get the result for him. So there's heaps to play for here. I'm really looking forward to it. And the other thing is Sam Mitchell. He loves these games. He likes these storylines, the coach of Hawthorn. So I'm very excited for this one. It's happening on Sunday. It's the last game of the round. So that one will be a cracker. In at number 2, the second best game to watch this gather round